And here we are, the final video for Chapter 4. We had the last section, which is solving word problems, so I would not have time to have finished it, so I just decided let's start brand new right here. Number 5, g of x is equal to 30x squared minus 30. And we are also told h of x is equal to 91x. And we are asked where is g of x greater than h of x. Well, all we have to do is substitute in and follow the directions for 2, 3, and 4, and we've got it made. So g of x is 30x squared minus 30 greater than h of x, which is 91x. Let's subtract 91x from both sides, so we get 30x squared minus 91x minus 30 is greater than 0. And this is what we're going to eventually check it into. And if we look at this, this does factor to 10x plus 3 and 3x minus 10. And we're going to set that equal to 0. When we set each one of these equal to 0, 10x plus 3 equals 0, so 10x equals negative 3, x equals negative 3/10. Likewise, 3x minus 10 equals 0, 3x equals 10, so that x equals 10/3. That's where something important happens, so we put these onto our number line. We've got negative 3/10 there and 10/3 here. Let's pick a number down here, negative 2, and plug it into this statement right up here. So we plug in negative 1, that becomes 30 plus 91 minus 30. Well, that's a positive. So that's going to become positive. Then 0. 0 minus 30, that's negative. And then let's pick 5. 30 times 25, let's see, 30 times 25 minus 91 times 5 minus 30 equals 265. But of course, all that really matters is the fact that it is positive. And notice we need it to be greater than 0, so there's no parentheses. So between negative infinity all the way up to negative 3/10, it will be positive, along with every value after 10/3 to infinity. Example number 6, we have a rock falling from a tower that's 272 feet. The h, which represents its height, is given by this formula, 272 minus 16t squared. It asks how many seconds will it take for the rock to hit the ground. In other words, when does h equal 0? Well, this is pretty simple. Just plug in 0 for h and then solve. And we've got several methods, but the square root method is actually going to be the easiest. But first let's divide through by 16, well, subtract 272. Divide by negative 16, and so t squared would equal 17. And then square root both sides so that t equals plus or minus the square root of 17. However, we do have to do a little bit of reasonable check here, in that it's impossible to go back a negative root 17 seconds. So when is it going to hit the ground? At root 17 seconds. And finally, example number 7. A rocket is propelled upward from ground level. Its height, given in meters after t seconds, is h equals negative 9.8 t squared plus 88.2 t. During what interval of time will the rocket be higher than 137.2? Well, this represents the height, so we're asking this pretty simple question. When is this greater than, it says it has to be higher than 137.2 meters. Well, first thing we need to do is get everything to one side, 0, and 0 on the other. So it'll be negative 9.8 t squared plus 88.2 t minus 137.2 greater than 0 is what we're asking. So what we need to do here, the first thing we're going to do is divide everything through by negative 9.8 to get rid of this beginning part. So when we divide everything through by negative 9.8, it becomes t squared. 88.2 divided by 9.8 is 9. Wow, that's very nice. And dividing this by negative 9.8, 137.2 divided by 9.8 is 14. And we're really interested in where does that equal 0, because we know it's going to have to be, well, let's see what happens here. See if anybody catches what needs to happen. So this will be t minus 2 and t minus 7. So that means t equals 2 and t equals 7. So we have to think about it. It starts from the ground, it goes up. At a certain point, it's going to hit 137.2 meters, and then it's going to come right back down. So you know 137.2 might be up there. But the question is, when does that occur? Well, it occurs from here to here. In other words, when t is equal to 2 and 7. So between 2 and 7. It can't be exactly 2 seconds because it has to be higher than that. Right at 2 seconds, it's 137.2 meters. Right at 7 seconds, it's 137.2. But it's above it between 2 and 7.